Howdy folks, Kirk and Jason here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today, I want to show you something new, a new material. In fact, you know we do YouTube videos, we got 850 or so with about 50 million views, and a lot of people ask me questions. One of the questions I got asked coincidentally about a week ago, he said, Kirk, what's new in the plastering industry from the last 20 or 30 years? And I thought, well, there's quite a few new things. But today in particular, we're going to be going over brick, cinder block, you can call it, but this is brick. When you go over, say, retaining walls, whether or not they're solid concrete, whether or not the texture, none of that stuff matters as long as you use the right material. I'll tell you a material that we're going to use today, and they don't even have this at my material yard. Westside Building Supply is where I've been going for 40 years. I take my truck in there, I say, boys, load that thing up. And they come with a tractor. They load a ton or two of sand. They put 30, 40 bags on the truck. Because you guys, if you watch what we do, you can see our truck. It's a monster truck with an 11-foot bed, and it'll hold a lot of weight. Anyway, this particular material, this is funny. Because this is going to be rambling, guys. I'm not going to show you immediately. So if you say, dang, I don't want to hear, just skip way forward. I'm going to explain about this bag. We've done about, well, we do a lot of work where other people do the lath, and then I get to the jobs, and we're ready to go, and they say, Kirk, would you use our material? And I say, you know, I'm not familiar with that material. I'm familiar with, say, hydraulic cement, such as Eisenwall or Rapid Set. There's no Portland cement in that. It's hydraulic cement. You're not supposed to mix Portland with that. I'm familiar with that. I'm familiar with the 690 BMI with fiberglass in it and lime. It has a lot of lime. I'm very familiar with that. I'm familiar with Lehigh's premium plastic cement. I use that often because I like it. This stuff here, we've gone to enough jobs and we've loaded up about 20 bags. And I said, guys, I can't use it. A buddy of mine had a job. I said, well, I'll tell you what, man. And he had some bags. I said, I'll apply it because I've been hearing good things about it. So I want to tell you what I know about it. And I used it a few times and I thought, damn, that's some good stuff. Anyway, it's called, what are we calling this stuff? Greencore. Greencore USA. Now, they say it's green, and there's a lot of reasons why it's green, meaning it's good for the environment. But anyway, this 8095, that does not mean the sand grit. The sand grits for a lot of our materials, the finishes are 2030, 3030, and 1620. That doesn't mean the sand grit. What that means is this 80-pound bag will put out as much as a 95-pound bag. In our trade for the last 50 years, all the bags come 94 pounds. So they're kind of trying to say that for this 80-pound bag will give you as much as a 95-pound bag. And there's a reason why, and it's true. Okay, now this stuff here, it sets just like, say, an Eisenwall, a Rapid Set. You can do back-to-back coats, and you can go over a wood house. Say it's got lath on it, metal lath, and it's two-ply paper, and it's going over a substrate of wood. You can go over that, 2 coats, same day. And it's a very fine sand in this. It says fine because the sand is fine. What I like about this, it's Portland cement with slag. You say, what the heck is slag? Well, slag is a terminology of iron. You heat the iron up, and the excess is called slag. And they use that slag for, say, roads, dams, and what it means is it's permeable. It's kind of like lime, except it's different, a little bit different. I personally like it. I'll tell you some more stuff now because I'm starting to ramble, but here's something. When we're working inside, I want a mud that is like whipping cream. What kind of muds are like whipping cream, guys? Structolite. You mix that and you can put it 2-3 inches thick, and it's very, very light. It's called Structolite. Now, all the rest of the interior plasters, like the veneers or any of the, you take veneer, you take imperial. Those are like butter. Those are cool. You take taping mud. Those are cool. That's like butter. You take the hot muds like USG or Fast Patch. when you mix those, and it comes in 20, 40, 60, 90, hour and a half mud, you mix that. It's like butter. Those are okay. But that Structilite is beautiful when you apply it. This, I found, is the same, similar. It's beautiful to apply because it's very fluffy, and you can go thick. I'm going to give you an example here. We just did this tile here. And yeah, this took us 3 hours to do, Jay and I. And the tile, okay, picture this. Look how thick this is. The guy said, guys, can you include these tiles? I said, man, you're tacking on an extra hour and a half, 2-3 hours. Okay, this comes out about 3/4 of an inch. We had to put a bonding agent on it. This is Weld-Creat on concrete. It's funny. People say, why do they call it Sackcrete? Why do they call it Weld-Creat? Why do they call it Quikrete? The last name, Crete, is like concrete. So that's telling people this is a product you use with concrete. Anyway, so the Weld-Creat is this blue stuff. That's what's in that 5-gallon barrel right there. Weld-Creat, because they're trying to get the terminology like concrete, meaning the two go hand in hand. One's this is concrete with cement over it, and then the bonding agent. Anyway, getting back to the tile. This tile, when we put Sikaflex on it, stick it on there, and then embed it with mortar. This is what we did right here. And this is still green, meaning we just did this. How thick is this, and how good is this material? The material is about 1 inch thick, meaning that's pretty thick. Kirk, you're the best. Very thick. We had to put these on, butter each one, then cover them all up, then clean these, and then come back with a rag and butter that up. And now I'm going to take a steel trowel and go over this 5-6 times, and the steel trowel has got to be wet. Otherwise, this is going to drag. Yeah, I'm playing around there only because I can. Getting back to this material, I want to show you, I'll tell you some other thing about it, because I'm about to spread it. So I'm going to spread it. And it's good if I'm going to introduce a material which our yard doesn't even sell, and I had to go all the way to Home Depot to pick it up and load these bags individually. It's like I haven't done that in about 15, 20 years. That's how good I think this product is. And no, they don't subsidize me or pay me or anything. I like the material. I used it only 4 times, and I thought, dang, this stuff kicks butt. Anyway, that's a slag cement. I'll tell you just a couple little things about it since I'm going to be using it. I printed these this morning. The iron used to produce steel and the molten slag converted to cement-like material by rapidly cooling it with water. This rapidly cooling, called quenching, creates a glassy granules which is then ground into a fine powder known as slag cement. Slag cement is what this is. This is half slag and half Portland. So that makes for an exterior whipping type cream. And again, I've used every cement on the planet, guys, at least 50 times each. This one is a new one to me, but I really like it because it's fluffy and you can play with it. It's light. I'll tell you something else. It had, I don't want to read all this stuff to you, but I printed it this morning and I was reading it. Jay was driving to work today and I was reading it. I said, hey, Jay, check this out. It says slag cement requires nearly 90% less energy to produce than Portland cement, according to the Slag Cement Association. Yeah, there's a slag association. Substituting 50% slag cement for Portland cement reduces greenhouse gas emissions by more than 40% and lowers the embodied energy of concrete by more than 30%. Do you guys know what that means? Me neither. I'm an applicator, not a scientist, but I'm reading through all this stuff, and I got an idea what that means. It means it's beneficial, and I don't want to bore you guys anymore with all that stuff because that was quite a bit. Let me show you how well this stuff spreads. And yeah, we just did all the hard stuff. That took us 3 hours because Jay had to hold the tiles, and I mudded them. Then we both had this. What we're trying to do is a hard steel trowel finish. Can you do a hard steel trowel finish with any cement? No. You cannot, guys. If you could, I would know how to do it because I'm an expert in this stuff. I'll show you how easy this stuff spreads. Now, it's just Jay and I here today. My brother Lou, he's on holiday. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how easy this stuff spreads, because we can. Generally I like to use these green scoops right here, and I'll take it out of the bucket myself. If I were to put a board in sand, I'd be way up here. You take your scoop, wet it first guys, then our mud is here, and my little my drain right here. We've had to pressure wash all this. I forget to tell you guys all these little details. We pressure washed this, and of course within a minute this filled up, so these don't work. It took us forever, another hour and a half, just to clean up the swimming pool that was created. So we got to tell the people, hey guys, that's your stuff is broke. We didn't break it. We haven't even started yet. And we tried fixing it for about an hour. Anyway, that's a whole nother story, but I'm well aware of this hole. I don't want to put my foot in it. Okay, here we go. Now, look at this stuff. It's usual cement. You can't kind of do that with. It's this is the equivalent of Structolite, so it's very fluffy. Okay, going over this. That's a thick finish right here. This is a heavy skip trowel finish. It's called a 1620 skip trowel finish. That means it's a heavy aggregate. Now to go over this takes a little bit of practice. All right, now watch this. This, unless you're familiar with plastering, you'd say, I don't see any difference. Hey Jay, pass me my Congo trout, please. Oh, I got it. It's right here in the bucket. I'm using the 16. Got to have my 20. Okay, I got my 20. Normally with other cement, it's about all I can use is that 16, because this is not so heavy. It's got that slag in it, and slag is very lightweight. Okay, so what we're doing, guys, is we're putting a coat on here, and he wants a steel trowel finish. So a steel trowel finish with sand and cement. Guys, I've been doing stucco a lot of years, and I'll tell you one thing. With stucco, I mean exterior cement plaster, stucco, render, same thing. With stucco, you could only steel trowel it so smooth because it's got sand in it. It's not like an interior tape and mud, which has no sand. So when you're working with materials that have sand in it, you've got to know what you can do and what you can't do. Now here's what I'll do, guys. I'm showing you how effective this is, and it's sold at Home Depot. All our weekend warriors that watch what we do, that's the only place they go. Because often people will call me and say, Kirk, I can't find this or that material. And I'll say, dude, that's because it's sold at the plastering yards. Get on your computer and Google plastering yards near me. That's the only place you could find some of the materials we use. However, this one I believe is sold not only at Home Depot, but at Lowe's too. Okay, now notice what I'm doing. He wants a steel trowel finish, and I tell him, dude, how about a float finish, meaning we put it on and then we'll float it for you. He says, well, I prefer a steel trowel finish. And I'll say, do you know that is, we'd have to skim the wall, come back and do 2 more coats of Santa Barbara. And I explained it to him, and he says, well, you know what, you're pricing it out of my range, maybe. That's sand finish you're talking about, I can live with. And I thought about this material, and I said, you know what, man, I'll go ahead. We'll do it, well, actually, Jay will do it because this is Jay's job. We'll do it, and we'll use the Greencore. And of course, he says, what's that? And I thought, you guys just heard me explain it. I thought, never mind, man, we'll just do it. So here's what we're doing. So we're taking the trowel, and we're coming down. Now, notice, that's pretty smooth already. Now, this is without me coming back. See, what I'll do is I'll let this set a little bit, Okay, that bucket's done. I'm going to the next bucket. And no doubt, Jay's going to have to mix up some more. And while he's mixing up some more, I'm going to take it just to the corner. That's all we're going to do on film. Take it right to that corner. But if you guys are doing a house and you say you're not that good, you're an apprentice or a homeowner and your skills lie elsewhere, you just go to Home Depot and get this material, because talk about user-friendly. It is the most user-friendly so far of all the materials. So to answer that one guy's question last night, I said, well, I've got a video, or I've got a job we're going to be doing. It's Jay's job. We weren't planning on doing a video, but we'll video it just to show you the material. You see it's getting hard. This stuff it gets hard. It's on a set time, guys. So generally what you do is you mix up only what you could use. And say for us, we know what we could use. And whether or not we're mixing with a mixer or in buckets like what we're doing, I tell you, we're in San Francisco and we're up like 30, 40 steps to do this. And we're using a Milwaukee drill. That's battery operated, so you notice how hard it's getting already. This is what I'm talking about. There's no way I could have did that with Jay's help even, unless we had a material that is friendly with us, meaning, you know, we got skill, but you don't want to burn out muscle. And if you guys have a hard time thinking, man, I did that, my arm is killing me at the end of the day, you try this stuff. It works well. So I'm done, Jay. We're going to need another 2 buckets. When he gets back, what I'll probably do with the last bit of mud is finish this top and go to the corner. I'm going to show you how easy it is to finish this, or, well, we make it look easy because we have a lot of time in, but you guys will too once you try this material. You'll say, wow, that stuff spreads easy, because it's like whipping cream, even when it's getting hard like this. This has a set time of about, same as BMI, same as Rapid Set, same as Eyes and Wall, about 40 minutes. So that's about what you want, guys. You don't want to be spending all day waiting for it to set. You want it to, you dictate the set time. You dictate it, not the wall. Anyhow, mud! Jay just mixed me up some new stuff. And because we're on a time limit, this right here is going to set a little slower than the rest of this. But the time limit I'm talking about is we are far from home. We are far from home, and we didn't anticipate putting that tile in right there, which added close to 2 hours for our day. And I want to beat the daylight, meaning I don't want to have to come back tomorrow. So I'm going to hustle right here and just finish off this one wall and show you guys a couple other little things, because nothing's worse than where we are. The street is so narrow. It was tough to get here. Then we got yelled at by about 5 different people because they're building 4 buildings on this one narrow street. The street is so narrow. If I took you to it, you'd say, wow, how do you get that big truck there? Well, it wasn't easy. Anyway, I'm going to show you just a couple things right now. And note, yeah, this is different. This is different set time than what we just did. But not much. Only about, say, 15 minutes difference. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is get my top. It doesn't always work out, guys, but that's close enough. You get the top like so, and you come back here and get it. Now, you just go over it a couple times and it will line up. That cap will line up. It takes a little bit of practice, but it all lines up. You have something stubborn like that that says, no man, I don't want to cooperate. Make it cooperate. Okay. So now this is going to set for 15 minutes, then I'm going to take the trowel and come down on it like that. And that'll pretty much finish it, because again, we don't care about traffic, although we are far from home. We care about not finishing and coming back the next day because of that nonsense right there. Okay, I'm going to show you just one last thing, guys, and you can envision the results because we've already got the results done. All right, now this is a new mud, so this got to take about half hour. This is almost set. So what we're going to do is just feather this into the existing. Feather it into the existing. Nothing to it. If you know how to do it. Hey, that rhymes. Okay. One more. My hat's off to Greencore because I like this material. Of course, I got to tell my material yard, dude, you guys better start selling this stuff. Otherwise, I'll have to find a material yard that does, because last thing I want to do is load my own material. I prefer to go to material yards and have them load it up, and we get our sand. I guess I didn't say, which is, you try to cover all the bases of a material. Then people ask me, well, what about this? What about that? So this, we can't add sand to it, guys. This has got its own sand in it. So all you do is you mix bags. There is no adding sand to this. It's pretty user friendly. I mean, if you're at, say, Home Depot and you're looking for a good material, that's about as good as you're going to get. And if you want something that's at Home Depot also, and you're in a hurry and you want thicker sand, you can get Rapid Set Stucco. Rapid Set, I've done enough videos with Rapid Set and explained it. If you guys have questions too, by the way, if you have questions, if you're on our site, all you got to do is, if you think, man, how do you mix that stuff? You put how to mix Rapid Set, how to mix Greencore, how to apply Greencore. How to mix it won't be done yet, because not on our channel, because this is our first time actually using it for somebody else. We've done it a few times, but we haven't videoed anything yet with this particular product. Anyway, there it is, guys, and that's over an extremely heavy skip trowel finish. That brickwork over here, it doesn't matter if it's a chimney, whether or not it's a brick wall. If you got loose bricks, they're all coming out, just go over it. You don't have to tuck each individual brick. Put this over it, or put Rapid Set or any of the other products. But I specifically like this stuff because it is airy and fluffy, and even a strong arm like mine gets tired every once in a while, so this is lighter. Alright guys, we'll show you the conclusion just because we can, and we still have a half hour of daylight left. Anyway, this is a 2-coat base coat finish, and most people say you cannot do a steel trowel base coat finish. Can't be done, but Jason loves doing them. I don't particularly care. I tell people, hey look, we'll do a base coat, we'll come back and do 2 other Santa Barbara or finish coats with 30-30 sand. That's like silica or fine talcum powder. Anyway, with a 2-coat system with this particular material, you're able to achieve this. Of course, my arm feels like rubber right now, and that takes a lot to make my arm feel like that because I'm so used to this. Jay's only gripe was he says, oh, I put the tile too low. I said, man, I can't notice that kind of stuff. Just by eyeballing these, I think it's absolute perfection. And here's the seat. We got rid of the so-called bird baths. This had a huge, it would collect about a gallon of water. We just got that out. Anyway, guys, that just shows what you can do with 2 coats, but you better have a lot of material knowledge in. With the material knowledge is so much longer to learn than the actual plastering. Anyway, this is Jason's favorite. He loves doing these hard steel trowel finishes. My name is Kirk. Jason on the camera, and he spread half of this. We thank you guys for watching, and as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Hi folks, Jason here, and I'm here to tell you something you probably already know, that like most content creators on YouTube, my dad and I are members of the Amazon Affiliates program. What does that mean? That means that we can show and link you to some of the most commonly used tools in the plastering trade on Amazon, like our hawks and trowels, scoops, floats, and some of the other things, our battery-operated tools for breakout and cutting, etc. Now, if you buy those tools from those links, we earn a small percentage of that. That allows us to keep making these videos and keep putting out quality content for you folks to enjoy.
Once again, folks, we thank you for watching, and I really enjoy all your comments.
If you guys like this video, please click the like button down below, and also if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these videos for you.
My name is Kirk.
And Jay.
We thank you for watching, and from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.